Hey everyone, I am Jane Digisman Kimilat, and today I'm going to tackle about the two stories which are entitled Why Sinigang by Doreen G. Fernandez and Savitri's Love by Mahabharata. So the first one that I'm going to tackle is all about Why Sinigang by Doreen G. Fernandez. So for the author's background, we have Doreen G. Fernandez was a Filipino writer, cultural historian, and food critic. She was born on October 28, 1934 in Manila, Philippines, and passed away on June 24, 2002. She wrote several books on Philippine food and culture, including Palayok, Philippine Food Time, On Display, a design grammar for museum exhibitions, and Tikim, essays on Philippine food and culture. So for the plot, in her essay Sinigang, Doreen Fernandez explores the cultural significance of the Filipino soup dish made with tamarind as its base flavor. She explains how Sinigang is a versatile and adaptable dish that has been altered and modified over time, depending on the region and available ingredients. Fernandez also highlights Sinigang's ability to bring people together and create a sense of community, as it is often served family-style and shared among loved ones. Through her examination of Sinigang, Fernandez emphasizes the importance of food as a reflection of culture and identity. To understand more this essay, let me read you the full essay of this story. So, Sinigang is a Filipino dish that is known for its sour and savory flavor. It is a popular dish in the Philippines and is often served as a main course. The dish is made with a variety of ingredients, including tamarind, fish, pork, shrimp, and vegetables. The dish is believed to have originated in the Philippines during the Spanish colonial period. It is believed that the dish was created by the Tagalog people who used tamarind to make a sour soup. The dish was then adopted by other Filipino cultures, and it has become a staple in Philippine cuisine. Sinigang is a dish that is both flavorful and nutritious. The sourness of the tamarind is balanced by the sweetness of the vegetables and the savory flavor of the fish or pork. The dish is also high in protein, vitamins, and minerals, making it a healthy and satisfying meal. Sinigang is also a dish that is easy to make. All of the ingredients can be found in most Filipino markets, and the dish can be prepared in a matter of minutes. The dish is also very versatile, as it can be served with rice, noodles, or even as a soup. Sinigang is a dish that is beloved by Filipinos all over the world. It is a dish that is both flavorful and nutritious, and it is a dish that is easy to make. It is a dish that is steeped in Filipino culture and history, and it is a dish that is sure to bring a smile to anyone's face. The essay entitled Why Sinigang by Doreen G. Fernandez explores the cultural significance of the traditional Filipino game of Sinigang. She argues that the game is more than just a pastime. It is a way of connecting with the past and understanding the culture of the Philippines. She begins by discussing the history of Sinigang, which dates back to the pre-colonial era. She explains that the game was used to teach children about the values of cooperation and respect for elders. She also notes that the game was often used to settle disputes between families and villages. Fernandez then goes on to discuss the importance of Sinigang in Filipino culture. She argues the game is a way of connecting with the past and understanding the culture of the Philippines. She also notes that the game is a way of teaching children about the values of cooperation and respect for elders. Finally, Fernandez argues that Sinigang is a way of preserving Filipino culture. She notes that the game is a way of connecting the past and understanding the culture of the Philippines. She also argues that the game is a way of teaching about the values of cooperation and respect for elders. In conclusion, Doreen G. Fernandez essay Why Sinigang is an exploration of the cultural significance of the traditional Filipino game of Sinigang. She argues that the game is more than just a pastime. It is a way of connecting with the past and understanding the culture of the Philippines. She also notes that the game is a way of teaching children about the values of cooperation, respectful elders. Ultimately, Fernandez argues that Sinigang is a way of preserving culture. So, for the points of view, for the points of view, we have the proof in the story is first person, as Fernandez is the author and is writing from her own perspectives. For the style of the essay is academic and informative, with a focus on exploring the cultural significance of Sinigang. Fernandez uses descriptive language to explain the ingredients and preparation of Sinigang as well as its cultural and social meanings. For the theme of the essay is the cultural significance of food in Filipino culture, specifically the importance of Sinigang as a symbol of Filipino identity and family values. For the symbolism, the sourness of Sinigang is symbolic of the Filipino approach to life, which emphasizes finding balance between different flavors and experiences. The communal nature of Sinigang, which is often served in large pots and shared among family members, is symbolic of the importance of family and community in Filipino culture. For the implication about the title, Sinigang is a traditional Filipino soup that varies in flavor and ingredients. The title implies that there is a specific reason the author is discussing the dish and that there may be cultural or personal significance to the recipe. It also suggests that the story may involve an exploration of Filipino culture and traditions. Lastly, we have cultural implication. The cultural implication of the story is that food is an important part of Filipino culture and identity. Sinigang is not just a dish but a symbol of Filipino family values, communal sharing, and the importance of finding balance in life. So that's all for my discussion about the essay entitled Why Sinigang by Doreen G. Fernandez. So for the next story, we have Savitri's Love by Mahabharata. So for the author's background, ancient Indian epic text composed in Sanskrit contains over 100 verses and is one of the longest epic poems in the world. It tells the story of a dynastic struggle for the throne of Hastinapur and includes philosophical and religious discussions. For the characters, we have first Savitri, the main protagonist, devoted wife who saves her husband from death. Next is Satyavan, husband of Savitri and destined to die. Next is Yamra, the god of death who comes for Satyavan. Next is Narad, the sage who informs Savitri of Satyavan's impending death. And lastly is Ashwapati, Savitri's father. For the setting of the story, we have forest in the kingdom of Madra where Satyavan and Savitri live, and Yamra's kingdom where Savitri goes to save Satyavan. So for the plot of the story, Savitri's Love is a story from the Hindu epic Mahabharata. It tells the tale of Savitri, a woman who fell in love with Satyavan, a man who was destined to die 1 year after their marriage. Despite this, Savitri was determined to marry him and spent the year proving her worth and devotion to both Satyavan and his parents. On the day of Satyavan's death, Savitri followed him into the forest and confronted Yama, the god of death himself. She pleaded with Yama to spare her husband's life, but when he refused, she proposed a deal. Yama, impressed by her intelligence and devotion, and granted her 3 wishes. Savitri then used these wishes to bring her husband back to life and ensure the prosperity of her in-laws. The story is a testament of Savitri's love and devotion, as well as her intelligence and strength. So to understand more the story, let me read you the full story of Savitri's love. So the story of Savitri and Satyavan is one of the most popular stories from the Mahabharata. It is a story of a devoted wife who was determined to bring her husband back from the dead. Savitri was the daughter of King Ashwapati of Madra. She was a beautiful and virtuous woman who was devoted to her husband, Satyavan. Satyavan was the son of King Jumatsena, who had been blinded and exiled from his kingdom. Despite his misfortune, Satyavan was a brave and noble man. One day, Savitri went into the forest to gather firewood. There she encountered the god of death, Yama. Yama told her that Satyavan was destined to die in 1 year's time. Despite this, Savitri remained devoted to her husband and determined to save him. Savitri begged Yama to spare Satyavan's life, but Yama refused. He offered her a boon instead, but Savitri refused it. She said that she would only accept a boon if it would save her husband's life. Yama was impressed by her devotion and granted her wish. Savitri granted her wish. Satyavan died as predicted, but Savitri refused to accept it. She followed Yama to the underworld and continued to plead for her husband's life. Yama was so moved by her devotion that he granted her a second boon. He said that Satyavan would be restored to life if she could answer the 3 questions correctly. Savitri answered all 3 questions correctly, and Satyavan was restored to life. The couple returned to the kingdom of Madra and lived happily ever after. The story of Savitri and Satyavan is a reminder of the power of love and devotion. It teaches us that no matter how difficult the situation may be, true love can overcome any obstacle. Savitri is a character from the Hindu epic Mahabharata. She is the daughter of King Ashwapati of Madra and is known for her devotion and love for her husband Satyavan. And she is an example of a devoted wife who is willing to go to any lengths to save her husband from death. The story of Savitri's love begins when she met Satyavan, the son of a blind king, Jumatsena. Despite her father's warnings, Savitri falls in love with Satyavan and they get married. However, a prophecy is revealed that Satyavan will die within a year. Despite the prophecy, Savitri remains devoted to her husband and follows him into the forest. On the day of his death, Savitri follows him into the forest and pleads with Yama, the god of death, to spare Satyavan's life. Yama refuses and tells her that he cannot go against the laws of nature. Savitri then uses her wit and intelligence to outsmart Yama. She offers to take Satyavan's place in death, but Yama refuses. She then offers to follow him into death, but Yama still refuses. Finally, she offers to give Yama a boon, and Yama agrees. Savitri then asks Yama to grant her a son, and Yama agrees. Savitri then returns to her father's kingdom with Satyavan, and they have a son. The story of Savitri's love and devotion is an example of the power of love and devotion in Hindu mythology. So for the points of view, we have the third person omniscient. So the conflict of the story is Savitri's love for Satyavan conflicts with his destined death. The style are epic poetry, highly descriptive language, and philosophical and religious discussions. For the theme, love and devotion can conquer even death. For the symbolism, we have Savitri represents love and devotion, Satyavan represents life and vitality, and Yama represents death. For the figures of speech, we have metaphors. Her love had wrapped round him like tendril around the stem of a tree. So, for the personification, death counted the moments of Satyavan's life. And lastly, simile, the god of love laughed like a storm above the earth. For the implication of the title, we have the title implies that the story revolves around the love of Savitri, one of the main characters. It may also suggest that the story is focused on a specific aspect of love, such as devotion or sacrifice. The reference to the Mahabharata in the title also indicates that the story has a religious, cultural, or historical significance. And lastly, for the cultural implication, it emphasizes the importance of devotion and selflessness in achieving a happy life, and highlights the role of women in traditional Indian society as devoted wives who will go to great lengths to save their husbands. So that's all for the Savitri's love. To sum it all, the moral lesson that we can get in the essay Why Sinigang by Doreen G. Fernandez is that why sinigang is that food is more than just sustenance. It is a way to connect with our culture and our past. First, Fernandez emphasizes the importance of food in Filipino culture. She explains that food is a way to connect with our ancestors and our heritage. She writes, food is the most tangible link to our past, to our ancestors, and to our culture. This is an important reminder that food is more than just sustenance. It is a way to connect with our culture and our past. Second, Fernandez emphasizes the importance of preserving traditional recipes. She explained that traditional recipes are a way to preserve our culture and our heritage. She writes, it is important to preserve our traditional recipes not only for their taste but also for their cultural significance. This is an important reminder that traditional recipes are more than just recipes. They are a way to preserve our culture and our heritage. Finally, Fernandez emphasizes the importance of sharing traditional recipes. She explains that sharing traditional recipes is a way to connect with our culture and our past. She writes, sharing recipes is a way of connecting with our past and preserving our culture, of keeping our heritage alive. This is an important reminder also that sharing traditional recipes is more than just sharing recipes. It is a way to connect with our culture and our past. In conclusion, the moral lesson that can be taken from Doreen G. Fernandez essay Why Sinigang is that food is more than just sustenance. It is a way to connect with our culture and our past. So for the story of Savitri's love by Mahabharata, it is a timeless tale and true love and devotion. It is a story of how woman's love and dedication can overcome even death. The story tells us that true love is unconditional and selfless. Savitri was willing to do anything to save her husband, even if it meant sacrificing her own life. She was willing to go to any lengths to prove her love and devotion to Satyavan. Her unwavering faith and determination to serve her husband was an example of true love. The story of Savitri and Satyavan also teaches us that love is stronger than death. Even though Satyavan was destined to die, Savitri's love and devotion was so strong that it was able to bring him back to life. This story is a reminder that love is powerful and can overcome any obstacles. So be it all. Thank you.